Howdy! As I mentioned last week, I was a little bit of a nerd, and it went down quite well, so I'm gonna tell you another story. Like I've said before, this is basically a psychologist's where I reel out all the traumatic events in my life and you sit there and go, oh dear. But inside, and what you write is like, oh my god, you're so just depressed and terrible and you know, I was a nerd. Okay, I'm still a nerd. And pretty much my second home was always the nearest library I could find. I was comfortable in a library, I was safe, I could read books, I could go to other worlds that didn't have grass because I have hay fever. I could go to places that we all love in books and cherish in our hearts, and I won't go too deep into it because it makes me sound like some kind of weird, neurotic, shut-in. Yeah, what gave you that idea about me anyway? And for those of you young enough to not know what a library is, it's kind of like if your MP3 player had physical versions of your music, but in paper form and in an actual building that you could take out and put back. It's a strange concept to you, I know, and probably in 50 years' time from this video, libraries will be the strange concept. Keep it educational, kids. And one day at school I was in the library because we were waiting for the bus and it takes about half an hour for the bus to get there, so I was in the library reading while everyone else was outside playing Story of My Life. And basically I was reading, I think it was Captain Underpants that day, the weirdest book ever. I don't think I'd picked one up before that day and I was like, Captain Underpants. And so I was nicely engrossed in my books, sat very clearly in the library. I must say it was not big. It was twice the size of this room, possibly 3 times the tops. It wasn't a big school. And the next thing I know, I walk out of the library, strolling along like, oh, I've got plenty of time probably, and then teachers are running up to me going, oh my god, where were you? Where were you? And I went, in the library? Apparently, this is how my parents told the story. I went to the library. Bus came. All children were present except for moi. The teachers then started searching for me. Now, there were about 4 buildings in the entire school. Like I said, there were about 60 kids. There were about 4 buildings for the school to look through. They apparently said they looked in the library. Didn't see them. They didn't come into the library, so they lied. Terrible school. They then said that they phoned my parents and said, we're sorry about this, but we've lost your child. And then they searched the surrounding bush area. That's what they call forests over here because it's bush. Kiwi ingenuity. I'm gonna get a couple dislikes for that. It's all in good fun. Don't worry. Here's the funny thing, my teachers were scolding me for it. They were telling me off for being in the library and not with other children. This is why I don't function well, because I do stuff to learn and then they tell me off, and when I don't do stuff to learn, they were like, why aren't you doing stuff to learn? It's so like you. Well, you tell me off. That was why teachers were annoying back in the day. They probably still are. My parents saw the stupidity of the teachers and they said they didn't check the library. They've known you, right? They know that it's you and library. And then the teachers eventually fessed up that they just looked in the window of the library and that was it. And apparently they didn't see me. I don't know. When you're reading a book, time moves differently. You're in another world. I didn't know how long it had taken me to... I don't even remember the plot of the book. I just remember very clearly that it was Captain Underpants and it was the weirdest, like, book for me to choose, and yet I liked it, but I would never have picked that up any other day, and it was that book, and I was like, this is engrossing. This is actually really fun. It's not Harry Potter for once. Ha ha ha. I mean, I was notorious as a nerd back in the day, and I probably am, but a different kind of nerd. But seriously, me and my friend organised in our school a Harry Potter competition. We organised it because we had nothing better to do because we knew all the stuff. We were like, hello headmaster, because 60 kids. We said, hello headmaster, We want a Harry Potter quiz. Between the two of us, I won. Yeah, I did. Ravenclaw. I am a proud Ravenclaw, by the way. I was so happy in Pottermore. I was like, yes! I was terrified of me putting Gryffindor. I think I'd have been most angry if I was a Gryffindor. That is the weirdest thing ever. I would have hated myself the most if I was a Gryffindor. I'm the only person who would hate being Gryffindor, I think. But seriously, my teachers didn't check the library. I was known for going to the library for pleasure, not like that, you dirty, dirty people. There are just nice books in the library. I haven't got my wand yet. I want to get a custom one with like the sonic screwdriver handle and then the wood on the thing, and it would be really cool. 10.5 inches, by the way, ladies. Wingardium Leviosa.